We have Darklords for you today, Marincess, and Cool Tunes as well. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on us. We actually get to leap into Darklords today. I was actually kind of a pleasant surprise to see Sonny just walking in a sneak peek and bringing the entire Darklord package with him, but truthfully, this is not a bad choice for some of the smaller competitions out there, because truthfully, being able to toss Herald of the Orange Light at your opponent and be able to control them is absolutely wonderful. You also got probably one of the best utility options that these decks could have wanted in the form of the Lahamu, because Lahamu basically gives you 2 free tribute summons for basically free, and it allows you to, you know, after your turn's done, like if you got some of those bad Darklord cards in your hand, you know, you can go ahead and sculpt them on out of your hand so you can find some other options. Also, because we are playing Golgolet, you're able to turbo into the droplet. There is no need to play really like any of the other cards. With this, I guess you just didn't want to play the crown, but like you have options to be able to kind of look at. Now, obviously, you're going to see we are playing the Melodious package in here, and I think that's wonderful. Typically, the Melodious package helps assist this deck a lot because, 1, there's scales that you can actually work with the deck, and 2, I mean, like, yeah, these are darks, but I mean, like, that's fine. The point of this package is to be able to fusion summon out the extra little options that your deck wants to see on the field. Also, you know, don't get me started on how broken the Maestra is here, being able to control the graveyard like crazy. And obviously, you know, having, you know, multiple tool sets available to you to work with this deck, I think is wonderful. So definitely didn't think I would see Darklord innovations outside of Genesis right now, but this was very refreshing. This is also really freaking cool. Somebody actually said, you know what? I'm going to go play Marincess. And they performed very, very, very well with this. You know, we're getting ready to head on into a new format here. You know, you got people that are testing pretty decent ideas. So I guess the question becomes, you know, of those decks that people are willing to test, what's going to be the most innovative? You know, what are going to be the tech choices that'll carry on home? Well, I think a lot of this had to do with the Tetsudo Erat Newman, making it so that neither player can special summon monster with 1800 or more attack is a little bit crazy, actually. Like, take a look at all the Cool Tune cards, for example. You know, if you get a Tetsu Erat established on the field, they're gonna have to find a way to walk on in and actually deal with this. I do see that we are actually main decking Grave of the Super Ancient Organism in here. Not a lot of people realize this, but this is an exceedingly good floodgate. Its job is to kind of punish the opponent so that they can't actually get access to any of their really powerful cards. And I think that's fine, honestly. Like, if you can force your opponent to have to deal with this and then roll a Grave of the Ancient Organism against your opponent, it's not going to be a good, viable time. I do also see that we are playing the Centurion True Awakened in here. I guess we wanted to have some, you know, you get to send a face a monster card from your small trap cards under the graveyard. Guess what? If the Marincess game plan goes correctly, you just get to send something, and congratulations, you know, your Battle Ocean is going to provide you with the ability to get those cards equipped onto your stuff, which means, dun dun dun, your deck actually functions. Also, we're playing Poseidra in here. That's definitely a little interesting piece that I didn't really expect to see, but okay. Next up here, we have Cool Tunes. Now, a couple things that I want to tell you about Cool Tunes right now. The clip controversy has been pretty interesting to see. I know a lot of people want clip to just be this amazing godsend card, to, you know, or you're like clutching onto the card a little bit too much. Honestly, I think the card is strong, but with the tool set that you've got available to you, do you really find that it's extremely needed to, you know, latch on and play 3? The argument is between 1 and 2, I think, post Blazing Dominion, but a lot of that's going to kind of come from the rest of the meta. Now, seeing double Duelist Genesis in the main deck, the only thing I would be extremely worried about with this card would be a Draw and Lockbird actually hitting you. If your opponent has a Draw and Lockbird and you are doing Duelist Genesis, shit, there's not much you can do about that. I do also see that we are side decking the Mana DM Reframing while leaving the Vices in the main extra deck as a resource to access. That's not terrible. It's little tools like that that I think will get you places. And we are also side decking the Rose Whip. You've heard a lot of the Rose Whip goes in the side in the TCG, but the OCG's main decking, you know. You'll see these bounce back and forth discussions on what is the really appropriate ratio for this. I do think that the TCG is going to kind of continue on with the argument of seeing this in the side deck. It tends to make the most sense for the way that the TCG mentality is towards these cards. So, well, definitely we have some options to kind of consider here with the deck making process. And now, RB, Odeon? I don't know how you guys managed to cook up the most interesting deck ideas. But if I recall, this only locks me out of the extra deck with 1,500 or less. So, what happens, I mean, if I don't have to slam this card as part of my starter package? What if I go first and I do the Odeon stuff, you know? Then stage landing doesn't necessarily punish me. So, I feel like looking at this, the Odeon package is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in the main deck. I feel like they just said fuck it when they came to this deck building process and said, you know what, let's be able to do it. Now, obviously, I think if they go first, they side a little bit more heavily here because you do see the Treasure of the Kings on the side. We have the Embodiment, and we also have the Verdict here. So we have multiple ways to kind of be able to find these extra outs to be able to provide ourselves with some good options to be able to do the thing. Now, your extra deck is going to be pretty dedicated to a lot of these RB pieces. And I mean, that's just because, like, the RB stuff is really good at going second. If you want cards to smash through a field, RB's going to get the job done for you. There's going to be no ifs, ands, buts about that. Truly, this deck as a going second monster is very, very good at what it does. I've seen some pretty disgusting things that players have managed to make work with this, and somehow, like, people just don't respect RB. There was an entire block last format where we had a solid good 3 to 4 weeks of this deck topping regionals over and over and over again, and people were just like, no, I don't believe that this is a real deck. Well, I guess, sure. Next up, we have some Adamancipator with Magnet Warriors. Now, Magnet Warriors have come truly a long way in their deck exception out here, or in their deck building prowess. You know, we started off with the we don't need the Magnet, or we don't need the Block Dragon, Copium, and the TCG with everybody crying. And then we went into the Magnet Warrior fusion piles, which those were pretty interesting, seeing, you know, Berserkion and Valkyrion being some centerpieces. And then the deck evolved again to kind of, you know, we went away from that. You had a more streamlined approach. I think this is the first time I've seen a fully expanded Adamancipator package within this deck, because I've just not seen players choosing to play this. I mean, obviously, you know, your Magnet Warrior package, obviously Epsilon and Beta just acting as additional one-ofs, but you do need the Kawaki Mirror Guardian to show up with this deck. Guardian is an incredibly powerful card because it actually just kind of makes sure that your deck just doesn't fall apart to hand traps. And I mean, like, that's kind of your reward, right? Like, you play this deck to ensure that, you know, you have the protection that you want from this, but you also play it because in-house searchable Nibiru, you know, you get access to that Tree Beast. You have a lot of different cool tech options being handed to you in an Earth Toolbox strategy that a lot of people just didn't really ever expect would come back into the meta here and actually kind of showcase, you know, why this deck is actually doing decent. So what do you guys think about some of the most interesting little techs and things happening within the meta today? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.